in some ways. This is kind of funny that, everyone's not here except for me, but, we'll get you through this here. My name is Kyle Hebe, like I said, and, this week, congratulations, I want to say, to high school coverage has been, going like crazy lately between lacrosse and softball. I know I covered 4 softball games yesterday up in Plymouth State University there. D1 through 4. We have Exeter is our D1 champion. They had a great game yesterday, winning it 2-0. We also had John Stark winning for the D2 softball. D3 was a ridiculous game between Wilton Lineborough and Epping, and Wilton Lineborough ended up winning that in the 12th inning. 12 innings. The softball games usually end at 7. This went 12. The game just didn't want to end. And then the other champion there was, what was the other game that I had to cover yesterday? Hopkinton. Hopkinton ended up winning the championship. I don't remember who they faced at this point. It was a lot of softball yesterday, and I'm glad to be here to make it. We'll 250-6007 if anyone wants to take a listen or give a call in, talk anything sports related from Bruins to Patriots. Patriots, they got their Super Bowl rings the other day. They're all still happy. Largest ring in the history of championships. Unreal. I didn't think they could pass the championship that they had from a couple years ago versus the Falcons when they had 283 stones in this, but they shattered it this week. Unreal. But it's a beautiful day here in Manchester. It's 70 and sunny, and we're not used to this here on Sunday mornings. We've dealt with a lot of rain and a lot of crappy days coming into the station. But here today, it's a sunny, gorgeous day. If anyone's listening out there right now, definitely take a chance to get out there and enjoy some of the day there, because it is absolutely gorgeous, and I highly recommend it here. But we're going to talk Bruins. It hurts. I don't think they will win the Stanley Cup. I might be off the mark, but it's okay. I'm going to go with it because it's just it's not looking good. The Blues have figured out our formula for success and are totally putting it to us. We scored 7 goals last Saturday. 7 goals by 7 different players. And since then, we've only had 3 goals in 2 games. 3 goals, including the other night, which I'm going to let Cam get much more into it because I know that he's got 2 notebooks, 2 pieces of paper worth of information for everyone here. But obviously there was a really bad goal by the St. Louis Blues. It wasn't really a bad goal. I would say that. It was more of a bad call. There should have been a penalty on the play, and it's probably going to go down as one of the worst calls in sports history, not just hockey history, sports history. And that even goes with the New Orleans Saints when they had a call go against them in the NFC Championship game this past year, where it definitely should have been pass interference and helmet to the face, and instead it wasn't called. And now we got to deal with Bruins needing to come back 2 games. They did it in 2011 when they defeated the the Vancouver Canucks, and we can only hope that they can do this again because it hurts me. It hurts me. I thought that we could have had game 2. We ended up losing that game. Game 3 was great. We won it so handedly. And now games 4 and 5, we've lost. We've only scored 3 goals, like I said, and now we got to deal with hopefully a comeback of the ages. We'll see what happens here. It's sad. I don't want to see this team go down, and I'm hoping that they got it. But I do want to welcome Cam. He just has walked in. I know he's still turning his computer on, and he's getting his notebook paper out there. But Cam, how you doing on this Sunday morning? It's gorgeous out. How was your walk?
It's a scorcher out there, man. I'm sweating.
I try to open the windows. I can obviously shut them, but I felt like there was a nice breeze when I first got in here.
Yeah.
But it was just dead air when I walked in here today, and I don't, we don't want dead air on the radio, and we don't want dead air, in the room. So I try to change it up. But if it gets too hot, just let me know. But either way, yes, it's if summer feels like it's finally here. I was I had to go cover a robbery last night at Sunoco on South Willow Street. I got there way late because I had to cover 4 championship softball games yesterday. That was a lot of softball.
You've reached the pinnacle of achievement in high school sports.
If that's what it is, then that sun destroyed me yesterday. So that's why I'm going to try to stay out of the sun a little bit today.
I was out golfing yesterday.
So you know exactly.
I'm a little tired as well.
I mean, how's the farmer stand coming? Were you know,
I think I did pretty good.
It doesn't look like that bad. Okay. Because that's what's
good.
key. I mean, this arm is definitely tanner than this arm right now because of the way I was sitting. But you know, it's nothing I can do there. It's just, you know, I got to cover softball. So, the last game, there's 2 games that started at the same exact time. So I had to run between 2 fields to get footage.
Ooh.
I did 8 different laps around, you know, from field to field yesterday. And the last 2 games, I started at the first game, and the second game started after, like probably an inning after. They caught up faster and were ahead of the game I was actually covering. Or I'm like, what the heck's going on right now? So now I could look over at the scoreboard and saw that it was the 5th inning, and they only got 7. So I was like, shoot, I got to go and get some footage before that game's over. Get over there. The team that's losing all of a sudden sees me or something and start scoring runs.
Oh, look at that.
So I get some runs. I'm like, all right, that's all I need right there. So then I run back to the other game because it's almost going to be over. Because I need to get some championship footage. That game gets over. Fine. Start running back to the other field. The team that was behind scores 3 runs. Now is up 5-2. And I'm like, oh, shoot. I just missed 3 runs. Not good. So I run back over there after getting the championship footage from the other game. And game 2, the team that's now down 5-2 comes back and ties it up 5-5. They go 12 innings. Like, softball's only supposed to be 7. I was there much longer than I should have been yesterday.
Jeez.
But and of course the championship run, it looked like an easy pop up, and the girl kind of lost it in the sun and it dropped. So I was like,
to see it.
I really hated to see it. I was like, because I saw the ball go up in the air and I just heard up, and I'm like, all right, it's gonna get it. So I didn't really like focus on the fielder that was trying to run it. And all of a sudden you see the ball drop, and then like the girl scored, and I was like,
wow,
oops. I didn't really get the best shot on that because I did not expect that ball to drop. It was just they'd been battling that sun all day long, and I don't know what changed it, but yeah, it's all good. But
the sun moves as the day goes on.
I know. I realized that
maybe it wasn't in her eyes earlier.
Oh, it was. That's why I'm like today. I'm trying to take it easy. My voice isn't even that like I don't know what it is. I must be tired or something like that. I think the sun just...
you were working pretty hard, man. I think...
And pollen, too. I don't know if anyone's deals with pollen.
Yeah, my girlfriend's having a hell of a time with that. She's got really bad allergies.
I definitely feel like there's something in, inside my throat or something like that that's definitely not making my voice sound as right, but...
You just sound a little raspy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like...
It's not bad. It sounds good.
Hello, ladies. Anyway... Bruins.
A little Scotty Farrell.
Yeah. Hello. Hey there. Oh my God. Worst call in NHL history last night.
Right, Carver.
I'm going to hurt too much. Carver. Oh my God.
But credit to photographers. I don't think people realize how much physical activity they have to do.
I mean, the fans were definitely laughing at me because I was smart. I brought 2 tripods, so I didn't have to take one apart every single time and take it together. So I was smart there because I did the logistics and I saw what the fields were. And of course, they weren't like, diamond to diamond. Mm-hmm. They were outfield to outfield.
Wow.
So I really had to run like the whole entire field. And of course, they have like spots where you're not supposed to be able to run. Uh-huh. So now I'm like, oops, well, I can't be over there. So I guess it's ooh. That was a creepy sound.
That
was a really creepy sound. That mic stand. Oof. Okay. Anyway,
haunted mic stand over here.
Yeah, that's very haunted. Spooky. Yeah, it was. I at least was smart, but it's still running with a 18-pound camera and trying to get all the coverage that you can get. I mean, when I looked over and I saw that the team had scored 3 more runs and we're up 5-2, I was like, shh.
Yeah.
I don't have the winning runs. I definitely don't have it. And then to see Epping come back was pretty cool to see. But
I saw a play like the one you were describing where the girl lost it in the air on SportsCenter recently. I think it was college baseball. I don't remember what the teams were, but the third baseman or the shortstop ended up. No, it was the third baseman was looking for it and lost it in the sun, and I believe it was the shortstop ran in and just saved him, and he caught it like right underneath the guy.
Wow.
It was insane. He like dove for it and everything. Have to look for that.
I do want to get into sports in just a moment, but there was one story, Heavies Heavies last week, that you weren't listening to because you were away, that I just want to bring up because I thought this guy is amazing, and it got a lot of interest from a lot of different people here. But there's a brewery in Cincinnati, Ohio, and a local man who works at this brewery called Local 12. He vowed to fast during Lent and live off of beer. All right, so he lives off of beer for 46 days.
That's a bold strategy.
That's a bold strategy, but it worked as he lost 44 pounds in 46 days.
Because he didn't eat anything.
Because he didn't eat anything. Yes. So let's see here. We got a. Oh, I'm using the wrong mouse again.
Man, he must have been the drunkest man in the world for that whole month.
Anthony, we're talking about the local man from last week again here, buddy. How are you today?
Oh, there we go. Just came in.
All right. So yeah, we're talking about. We're going to get into sports in just a moment here, but since Cam wasn't with the show last week, I wanted to go into the story about the guy who lost 44 pounds in 46 days from living off of beer for Lent. And I know that was a big story last week, and we had a lot of interest from it. So
yeah, that's right.
I wanted to bring it back to Cam because, I mean, I agree with you. How drunk would you have been to live off of beer for 46 days?
Yeah, and also how do you not die of alcohol poisoning at some point?
That's what I'm saying. I don't buy it.
I mean, working at a brewery, it is an interesting thing. I mean, he must own the brewery in some ways because how's your boss be like, yeah, go ahead, drink all the beer you want?
No.
I mean,
I don't think that would fly.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
yeah, he's got to be, because if he wasn't the owner, he'd have to be working and everything too. I just don't see how you can live any semblance of a normal life drinking beer.
I mean, how do you drive?
Yeah,
like there's
this guy just sounds like an alcoholic, and he's looking for a reason to drink.
Maybe he just had like one beer every day, and that's what he was talking about.
It's completely the opposite idea of what Lent is. Lent, you're supposed to be giving up your vices. Well, he just went all in on.
All in on one vice. Yes. Interesting thing right there is doing the liquid diet. I guess it's an interesting call to do this, but it worked for him in some ways because he says he feels like he's in his 20s again, and he's in his mid 40s, so he feels great.
He's hammered.
I didn't die. I'm actually healthier than when I started, and it's actually possible. So,
oh man, I don't know about that.
I'm just kind of curious on that. And we got a guest here today. You are way early, sir. You said 11 o'clock, and it is 10:15. But we'll get into that in just a moment here. But Anthony, Cam, I mean, we got a lot of Bruins talk right now.
Yep.
I mean, Cam, knowing you had a whole entire list of things going on, I mean, I don't know where you want to start. If you might as well take the reins on this right now, because whether you want Char's Jaw, or even the whole entire situation with the officials not making the right call. I'm gonna just let you take it over now.
I think first we need to just address the elephant in the room, that non-call. Absolutely egregious. Just no other way to describe it. He missed the call. Either that or he didn't want to make the call, and I don't think that ref should return. But that aside, the Bruins, they didn't really capitalize on their chances. They were 0 for 3 on the power play. They did a lot of good things, like 39 shots on goal and a lot of other things that I can go into. But, at the end of the day, you just got to score. And they, hit the post a couple times.
It's a lot.
So just, you got to... I mean, we're getting chances. We're getting good shots. And you just got to put the puck on net and keep pressuring Bennington, because it seems like, he's feeling himself right now. And we need to make him feel a little uncomfortable.
Maybe we need to, they did it to Tuukka a lot and just run into him.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that type of criteria?
I don't think that you should be trying to run into the goalie, but I do think that you should be crashing the net and trying to put pucks on net and, make him feel a little uncomfortable. And if you happen to run into him, that's just kind of the way the game goes sometimes. But, I felt like the Blues were getting a little reckless with it, especially with that last one with Perron.
Yeah.
And then right after that, he like did something else, and they finally called a penalty on them. But as long I just think as long as you aren't constantly hitting the goalie in the head and like running into him like every play, you know, that's probably a little too much. But just keep crashing the net and crowding him and making him feel uncomfortable.
I mean, what hurt me most about Game 5 there is that we were down 2-0. Like it was 1-0 before that. If that call had been made, the goal obviously would matter. And then when we scored the one goal, it's like, oh, we would have gone to overtime or something like that. Who knows what would have happened in that game instead of us being like pressured and then having to play stressed out. Trying to get that second goal.
Instead of it being a goal for St. Louis, it would have been a power play for the Bruins. You could have tied it right there, maybe gone to overtime, maybe even finished them off before overtime. And it's a really bad look for the NHL. And the NHL
oh my God,
put out
huge
a
black
statement
eye
on it too. The NHL put out a statement, and it was basically like, we're not going to, the refs make the calls they make, and we're not going to, get in their way. That's absolutely BS. I'm really trying to keep it PG here, but
thank you for that. I appreciate the PG.
Yeah, and there's a couple other instances I wanted to point out that the refs missed. So Target and Slewfoot was the big one. Johansson's headshot, where Barbashev is now suspended.
Yeah,
and you guys see the Twitter side by side of the Matt Cook comparison. So when Matt Cook hit Mark Savard,
okay,
it was the exact same hit.
Mm-hmm.
They showed a side by side and everything, except Barbashev's I think was a little bit worse because he was actually making strides towards Johansson. And, it kind of looked like he leaned into his elbow a little bit. Matt Cook, he was very slick with how he did it, but he was just kind of gliding. There's not as much force going into it. Obviously, it was a worse result, but glad Johansson's okay. And then there was a moment, just remember when Krejci had to jump in front of the net and make that save?
Yes, absolutely.
Right before that, like that opportunity would have never happened because Krug was getting interfered with and held, or whatever you want to call it. I think it was Sundqvist or somebody was holding onto his stick and just like dragging him down and held him for like a good 5 seconds, and that created a scoring opportunity for the Blues. And the refs didn't call that one either. So I'm very disappointed with how the officiating has been. I know the Bruins have gotten away with some things too, but I don't think any of them have been as egregious as what the Blues have been getting away with.
Totally agree
and
with you
I'm happy
there.
that Cassidy called out, the way things changed after Berube complained after Game 3. And then, Berube responded, and, it seemed like he said basically, oh, I'm not here to judge the refs, even though that's exactly what he did. But
Yes, exactly.
He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, so I'm not going to get too riled up about that. It's not like, he's that stupid where he doesn't see the hypocrisy. He's just, he's saying the right things that he needs to say.
Well, I'm going to take a moment here and listen to Bruce Cassidy in his press conference the other day about how, what he thinks of the Bruins play here and what's going to happen from here on. So let's take a listen to Bruce Cassidy here of the Boston Bruins.
I sat here 2 days ago or whatever it was. I said I believe these officials are at this level because they've earned the right to be here, and you should be getting the best. But I mean, the narrative changed after Game 3. There was a complaint or whatever put forth by the opposition, and it just seems to have changed everything. I mean, the non-call on Achari, their player's on his way to the box. I mean, it's right in front of the official. It's a slew foot. Our guy's gone. The spotter took him took him out of the game for a possible concussion. I mean, it was blatant. It was a big effect on the game. I mean, this has happened. I'm a fan of the game. It's the National Hockey League getting a black eye with their officiating this playoffs. And here's another one's going to be talked about. I thought it was a great hockey game. That call probably, there's time, but it really made it difficult for us to get the win tonight. So I'm disappointed. So I guess to answer your original question, it was egregious.
Bruce Cassidy said that your comments on the officiating.
This is Craig Berube, coach of the St. Louis Blues here.
Series, and also said the not calling a penalty on Bozak was an egregious error by the officiating crew. Your thoughts on that?
That my comments changed? Yeah. I don't agree with it, but it doesn't matter. I'm not here to judge the officials. And calls that could have been or couldn't have, they go both ways. I mean, there's calls the other way that could have been called and they weren't. So don't know what to say about that.
I sat here.
I
2
don't
days
know what
ago
to
or
say
whatever
about
it was,
that. Is not the best answer for that. I mean, it's I don't even know. Cam, I talked to you about this a couple weeks ago where I was like, I don't really have a reason to hate the Blues, and now I'm feeling like that narrative has changed for me as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I've been hating them for a little bit right now, but I don't even really. Those comments don't really bother me that much because he's just saying what he needs to say as the head coach. Like, what are you gonna say in that situation?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, I totally agree with that. No, that's not a good look.
They should have won that game.
Right.
Yeah, and Bruce is very nice where he said it was a great game, and it was a really good game. Both teams had multiple chances, and it just stinks that I mean, for the history of time, if things don't turn around for the series, that we're going to remember this.
Yeah.
Just like the New Orleans Saints remember, that non-call and the NFC Championship
And the
game.
Blues, the Blues had almost lost their series against the Sharks because of a terrible call as well. So it's a lot of that going around the entire playoffs, and the NHL, like, that's been the worst part about the entire playoffs. No matter which team I've been watching, the officiating has been shaky at best.
I mean, we've gotten lucky so far in our series to get this far, and we haven't really had any, controversy like this. But things have changed here. I do want to welcome
A lot of bad officiating all the way around, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
It's a
And
bad look for the league.
we'll see what tonight brings. But Michael Martineau was nice enough to join us today. I know he was. You're walking down Elm Street this early in the morning. What's going on, Michael?
I gotta work at Fishcast this afternoon, so
What time's the game today?
1:35,
So what time you got to be there?
11:45.
11:45, and you're here already. I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty. You said 11, and you walked in the door at 10:14. What's going on?
because I walk quick because it's basically a 3-mile walk from my house. So
A 3-mile walk?
yeah,
You just walked 3 miles to get here?
or basically 2 to get here, another mile to get to the stadium.
Do you need water or anything? I mean, that's Cam just walked a half-mile and he's exhausted. Oh, he's got water. Look at that.
Yeah.
He's brought his own water here today. I mean, geez, I was shocked when you came in. I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Fishercast. I mean, last night I don't know. This was on I saw it all over the place. They won by a steal of home plate.
Nice.
Yeah, so basically, game was tied 4-4 going to the extra innings, and of course they instituted the softball where you get
Yeah. So in extra innings, the team gets a runner at second base.
yeah. So
I don't like the rule myself,
No,
but they're trying to
neither.
speed up the game.
So
That'll
ba-
do it.
So basically, you got Santrion Exmar on second. Basically, first 2 batters strike out.
Okay.
They intentionally walk Palacios. So you got
Okay.
first and second, and then they walk the next guy,
Wait, they intentionally walked 2 people in a row?
or no, they pitch to the next batter, but it ended up being 4 straight balls.
Oh, okay.
Change pitchers, and then without even realizing, actually, I took a great lead, and it's like, and pitcher didn't even have time to react. It was that fast.
He kind of did. He definitely was. I mean, baseball is a mental game in a lot of ways, and the camera angle changed, and you could see his motion. But you're throwing 90 miles per hour, just throw it at home plate. Let the catcher do the work.
Yeah.
But either way, it was a great
Could be
way.
a balk, though, couldn't it? Isn't that how that
Oh,
works?
that's true too. I'm not.
If
Yeah.
it's a balk, then he advances anyway, and then they automatically lose.
Either way, it was a great read last night. It was a fun way to see the Fisher Cats win that game, and then you had the fireworks after. You had a pretty fun night last night in some ways, huh?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a hot one out there today. I mean, thankfully the humidity is low, but at the same time, it's if you're
Yeah.
gonna sit in the stands, whether at Fenway or at a Fisher Cat Stadium, Delta Dental Stadium, I'll be polite and say the correct.
Northeast Delta Dental
Oh,
Stadium.
I don't even have it right.
Come on, Bill.
Off the mark.
Zick doesn't usually have it right either. The MC of it, he doesn't include the Northeast part. Even though that's
really?
the name of the company. So I'm like,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, hopefully Delta Dental doesn't sue him because I'm not even saying it right.
Yeah.
Northeast Delta Dental.
Yeah, well, it's like everyone still calls the Verizon Arena.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't even get me started about that, please. No. I enjoy working at both places. I hate how Monarch's no longer there. So that
yeah.
So
That definitely is a.
so that basically takes 75% of my income from there away
Oh no!
Wow.
just by losing Monarchs.
Oh no,
Jeez,
that's not
insane.
good.
Yeah.
Do you still get to work for like concerts or anything like that?
Yeah. I still get to work for concerts and all that, but basically Monarchs was the bulk of my schedule. But now we're trying to get new teams in there. We'll see how that works. Picking an indoor soccer team maybe.
Indoor soccer.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
Wow. See,
Maybe
I'm
a
glad
lacrosse
we got
team.
you on the show here for a little bit here. I
Yeah.
mean, what time do you have to be to work again? 11:45.
Yeah, I'll leave here at 11:15.
Okay. All right. So we got you for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So I mean, have you been watching the Stanley Cup Finals here at all?
I tuned in a little bit last game.
Oh, it's a bad one to tune into.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Out of all the
yeah,
games
yeah.
to pick, you picked that one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll probably watch tonight. So.
I don't know. I'm sensing a bad trend here.
Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you, Mr. Martineau. I mean, you've been all busy with your NHTI jacket. I know your season just finished a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you're coach for all sorts of different teams. I mean, what do you got going on for the summer now? I mean, you got Fisher Cats, I realize, but
Yeah.
other than that,
Fisher Cats, and casual event at the arena. Then I just used the summer to relax.
is that possible with you?
Sometimes it is.
All right. I've never really seen that out of you in the short time I've known you. So,
No.
you know,
You mentioned you covered the two baseball championships games at Northeast South Central Stadium were pretty good yesterday, or one was a mercy in 5.
that's not a good game.
or it's a baseball state championship game. It's supposed to be good, yeah. It ends up in a mercy, but let's say you got Newmarket beat Pittsfield for the D4.
Okay.
Then you got White Mountain who upset Hopkinton 7-4 for the D3, and then you got D2 and D1 on Monday night.
Yeah, I think it's Bedford Londonderry in D1.
Yeah, and then Bow, Hollis, Brookline, and
Bow, Hollis, Brookline. Okay.
D2.
Yeah, it's a lot of championships, and then we had a ton of lacrosse games yesterday out in Exeter. So
Yeah.
we got, I think WMUR covered at least 8 championship games yesterday, and unfortunately, I did half of those with the 4 softball games. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good time, and I'm glad we can cover as much as we can because it fills time with TV and also with here at the radio show. But obviously, Cam, I know you have a lot more Bruins stuff. I'm gonna play this quick 44-second Bruce Cassidy soundbite talking about the officiating.
What was being said was you missed an effing call is what was being said on the bench for obvious reasons. But after that, we had to settle down and play. If you mean by me or the players or.
Yeah, the whole.
I mean, I think, we thought we got screwed, but you got to keep playing. We did. And we scored the next goal, gave ourselves a chance to win. So we tried to rally around that about moving forward. There wasn't a whole lot of, you're in the moment, of course, you're upset. But I think players, once they get back on the ice, they're not too concerned about that. So that's the way it finished. I thought we responded well. We pushed to score. We did. We pushed again. We gave up some odd man rushes as a result. Made the next save to keep us in. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it by him in the end.
I just love the way he started that piece. Let's just listen to that again. You could hear the sort of frustration. Oh, of course, the timer beat me to it. All right, I'll, if I can get that again, then I will play it. But yeah, just to know that how I love hearing a coach this angry. I mean, it's nice to know that he's really wants to show his own team that they mean business, and he doesn't want the officiating to ruin their type of play. They need to figure things out. So and here we go. Let's see if I can do it again.
Was there anything from the referees?
What was being said was you missed an effing call is what was being said.
Love it. Just love it. I mean, I can listen to that all day. Like the
From
question.
the referees?
What was being said was you missed an effing call is what.
I'll stop there. I mean, we've heard it 3 times now, but yeah. Anthony, I know we haven't let you talk a little bit Bruins here.
I saw Cam's sheet the other day. I just want to hear everything he's got on his mind.
Okay, that's why I was just like,
That's why I get all my Bruins info.
Okay, I'm like, I gotta let Anthony here. I mean, you are nice enough to be able to Skype from us from the Gateway City or Gate City, I think it is, in Nashua. But yeah, Cam, take it away.
Well, yeah, you gotta love how candid Bruce Cassidy is about pretty much everything. Really refreshing to have someone who's so transparent and honest in the league where you know, someone could take have like a concussion and they'll call it an upper body injury.
Oh,
You know, something
yes.
like that. But you know, I think the Bruins did a lot of things that were good in the last game. They outshot their opponent 39-21.
Yeah,
so Jordan
that's-
Binnington made 38 saves, which is insane. So you know, you can't really you know, fault them for not putting the puck on net. At least they out hit the Blues 43-34. But
Which we were getting out hit a lot.
Yeah.
The games 3 and 4 for sure.
Yeah, but I think we kind of can't get too caught up in the Blues game because they're just so much more bigger and physical. I mean, the Bruins can be physical, but I think, you know, they need to just skate better and skate around the Blues players and not worry so much about taking or giving hits. Just skate and pass and put the puck on net and beat them with your skill.
It's weird to hear that because, you know, we had teams that were so large with the Lucics and, you know, all sorts of bigger
We
players.
won the 2011 Cup by playing like the Blues are right now.
So that's why it's weird to be on the other edge. I mean, we came back from 3 games to 2 in that series, and unfortunately we weren't able to do that against the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Well,
so
That was
who
an
could?
insane minute and a half, though.
Oh yeah.
in that Blackhawks game,
Yeah.
yeah, that was
That'll never happen again. You play that game 100 more times, it doesn't happen.
that was a very tough game to watch while holding your like 3-week-old nephew. Like I had to really hold
Guy was
back.
holding a beer.
Oh, I wish I had been
I was
holding
at
a
a
beer.
graduation party, I remember.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm just I was nice. I was a nice brother and like, you know, spent time with my nephew and I'm holding it and I'm thinking we're gonna win and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, Kelly, you gotta take this baby. You gotta take this baby. I can't do this right now. I was definitely feeling very, very angry and I didn't want my nephew to be dropped or anything like that because I was ready to pull a Cam Neely and throw a water bottle across the room. That was
Oh yeah. That
would've
was
been
funny
baby,
to see
though.
that.
That would have been bad.
that would have been bad. I would have been arrested.
I think I did do that with my beer back in 2013. So
Well,
I
it's
definitely
been
understand
6
his
years later, and
frustration.
hopefully we don't have to deal with these anger issues, and the Bruins can get it together. You're saying that their play, I mean, it's very frustrating that the Blues have done a good job of shutting down the open part of the ice, like the middle of the ice, which is where the Bruins often work very well with.
Yeah, Bruins can't seem to get entry into the offensive zone, at least not cleanly. A lot of times I'm seeing the Blues will set up like just a wall
Yes,
of like 3 or 4 guys on the blue
There's
line.
like, yeah, absolutely. The blue line is where it's at, where
Yeah.
we're trying to shuffle something in, and then that the one guy that's not on the line will go down and get the puck, and then all of a sudden they have 4 guys on the blue line already. They can go the other way with a lot more speed, and
Yep.
you know the Bruins are still trying to get offense when all of a sudden they're like, oh shoot, we got to go play back. So,
So we got to figure out how to get around that. I would think that the best way to do it is just dump the puck deep and chase it. But
but like I said, the last we're not being fast enough. We can't get past them, and it's really kind of frustrating.
The Bruins did, I think in game 3, or maybe it was 1, they had a really neat play where their 3 forwards skated up to the blue line, stopped. McAvoy had the puck, and him and whoever the defenseman was just skated right through everybody, and they got a 2-0 in the offenses. I think they actually scored on that play too. So neat little plays like that. I think we need to see more of that. Just got to try to outplay them. Really, they're gonna beat you into the boards and they're gonna go for the head and they're gonna play dirty. But you just got to rise above it, find a way to skate around them.
It was scary the other day to see Krug and Marchand, and they're near the Blues defenseman, and the defensemen are just so much larger than Krug and Marchand. It was definitely like a.
But Krug's at least been playing with some fight.
I agree with that.
Marchand looks like he doesn't know where he is out there. He's seems like he's being really hesitant. Sometimes it seems like he has cement in his skates and he's just standing there in the offensive zone, not doing anything. And a lot of that going around too, not just Marchand, people just standing in the offensive zone, especially on like a power play, trying to set up the perfect pass, like skate around and make a play happen.
I'm hoping this affects Tarasenko, because this would be kind of a funny thing to see. But after they landed on Friday back in St. Louis, his wife gave birth to a son. So I'm hoping that
Oh.
That's gonna be motivation.
yeah, I'm hoping it works the other way, where the kid just cries all night and Tarasenko hasn't been able to sleep.
Oh, please.
That's my only hope right there.
Please.
But yeah, it was kind of interesting. They're Congratulations, I guess, to your newborn son, Vladimir Tarasenko. But I'm hoping that your kid cries a lot and you can't sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He didn't
I mean, look what
participate.
happened after Van Fleet had that kid. He's been getting dropping like 15 a game.
Tarasenko did not participate in practice on Saturday for what was called a maintenance day. So
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine.
I'm sure he's fine too. But
But Barbashev will be gone next game, so at least that'll hopefully make things
second
a little bit
time a fourth line player for the Blues has been suspended this series.
Mhm.
I mean that's not good. And yet we're not getting the calls according to the coach there.
easy. Right.
I mean that's BS right there.
Yeah.
Because both those guys being suspended, I don't think there were penalties calls in those plays.
There was on the Grizzly one.
There
It was
was on
only
the Grizzly.
a 2-minute one.
Which
and
is
there was
crap.
none on Johansson the last game, which is.
I'm just glad Johansson
boggles
was
my
able to
mind.
be all right because I know that thanks to Marchand, he does have concussion issues from the
Yeah.
past. So, hoping for that. But I mean, we do have to talk about the Chara.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
I mean,
Yeah, that was insane.
unreal. I did not. It really hurt to see him on the bench in that third period in Game 4, where he had the full fishbowl. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm like fish glass thing. Fishbowl on, and all he did was come out there and kind of try to pump up his teammates, but he can't really talk.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing. He limits his words.
I guess he can now.
I was gonna say he was at
talked
the press
after
conference.
practice. Yeah.
I don't think I have the sound for that right now. But at least it was funny in the press conference the other day where he had to write things down.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of writing for someone for sure. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully he said he doesn't hurt, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, you kind of got to say that.
But you gotta say
He's
that, exactly.
definitely
Yeah,
in pain.
Isn't his jaw wired shut?
I don't think it's wired shut, but he's got some sort of like scaffolding that he wears around his jaw when he's on the ice.
He's quoted as saying there are no limitations for him playing through the injury, which the team described as only a facial injury. Obviously, it was a quick turnaround after the game here, but I felt fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His jaw doesn't look like it's actually that badly broken, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a hairline fracture or something like that.
He played 16 minutes and 42 seconds in Game 5.
That's insane. That's so much. That's like double the time I expected him to be playing.
He had 4 hits, 3 blocks, and took 2 shots on goal, but he looked uncomfortable at times. I agree with that.
I think I don't know. I don't
think so?
I don't know if he should have been out on the ice, to be honest.
We're running out of
He was
defensemen.
playing really hesitantly. Yeah, but
Yeah, that's what's been killing us.
Kampfer has looked pretty good. He scored a goal against Carolina, not an empty net
Yeah.
either. It was the first goal of the game. He had really heads up play from him on that. And in the only 8 minutes that he played last game, he looked like he was an effective player on the ice. So I think we should probably sit Chara and play Kampfer, not mess around with the 7 defensemen. I think that's bending over way too much to try to
Need
just
to
keep
get
your
them to
captain
build
in
some
it.
chemistry together too.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
hurting us when they keep having to switch them all out like in the middle of a game and stuff like that. I feel like that
Yeah, it
takes
throws
time
off.
to get that.
It throws off
Yeah,
your
exactly.
timing. It throws off. You don't get you don't get up to speed because you're not playing the same minutes. And it's just, I think we're just trying too hard to keep Chara in there. And before he got hurt, everyone was saying Chara looks like a liability out there. He's getting, people are skating around him. He's getting turned around, and he's not quick he can't clear the zone, and he has been having a lot of troubles clearing the zone. I just don't think he should be out there. He's hurt. Especially if it actually is a broken jaw. I mean, just watching him skate out there, he was completely hesitant. It looked like he was trying to avoid getting hit the whole time. And I love the guy. I have so much respect for him. I probably will respect him more than any other hockey player that will ever play the game. And I just don't think that he should be out there.
Well, this news for Matt Grzelcyk is looking somewhat good for this evening.
Especially if he comes back.
I mean, he's been out since Game 2 with a concussion, but he was not medically cleared on Saturday, but the team was feeling very good. He looked he's been out in practice the past couple practices, and here's hoping. Thing is, I don't know if he took the flight to St. Louis. That's the issue that I don't know if one of you gentlemen can be able to look that up possibly.
Yeah, let me see.
But yeah, that's an interesting take where I mean, if we can get him back, he definitely brings some speed and some kind of
Yeah.
quickness
And
to the defense.
Clifton looks a lot better when he's playing with Grizzlick too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I love Clifton, but he's been getting exposed lately.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but he did fight through a 3-minute shift, so credit to him.
Yeah,
on
that is a long shift for sure. That is a very long shift.
That was another example of a moment where the Bruins just couldn't find a way to clear the zone, and I think that's just a crucial area of their game they need to improve on. You can't be skating around in your defensive zone for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, like multiple times a game. That's not. You're not going to win.
That is one thing of this series I've hated, is that the Blues have been able to keep it in our zone for a significant amount of time. In game 2, I know that we gave up a goal that way because we just can't seem to get the puck away from the Blues. They do a good job of passing it to each other, and it's we get lucky when we don't score. But I just feel like after we get like 30 seconds with them, just passing it back and forth, and after their shots, they go and get the rebounds really quickly and pass it to the open man. It's been a frustrating thing to watch. But
after 30 seconds, that's like the critical moment where you need to change, or you're going to be so gassed that you can't even catch up to them and get the puck out. You're just too tired. You're going to have to hope to block a shot and hope it doesn't bounce too far away from you so you can just clear the zone or something.
I had a great conversation the other day with a future guest of the show. He just had his number newly retired from the Boston Bruins. I got to meet Rick Middleton the other night.
Wow.
And
nice.
I asked him to have a chance to come on the show and talk with us about Bruins hockey. I mean, he played from 76 to 88, so he knows
nice.
a little bit about the Bruins, and he was more than willing to join the show. Unfortunately, he was too busy this week to be able to come on. But
Yeah, well, that'll be cool.
He's got a lot of, we talked to Bergeron and how he's playing injured, but a lot of people are playing injured. They just hide it well. And
I think Marchand's hurt.
I mean, there's just something about that line that
We'll get the laundry list after the series. I can't wait. To
I
see
know.
that. Cool.
The laundry list is always good. It happens in every sport. I mean, you hear it in the Super Bowl, like Aaron Donald or something like that had a groin injury or something like that,
Yeah.
and that's why he couldn't play as well, or yada yada.
Gronkowski had 3 missing toes.
Things like that, exactly. Cam, I know we're going fast through this list.
Matt Grizzlick did fly to St. Louis.
Oh, yay! Dun dun dun! Breaking news off the Mark Sports.
Not medically cleared yet, but he did fly to St. Louis. Yeah, hopefully he can come back.
Well, the fact
And
that he took the
also-
flight is pretty good right there.
Yeah, and also Chris Wagner could come back for Game 7 if there is one.
Waggy.
Yeah,
Oh.
so that'll be interesting. I like it. I like him on the fourth line. I know Corrali, Chari, and now I'm forgetting his name, Nordstrom have been pretty good, but Nordstrom, meh.
Yeah,
I can kind of take it or leave it.
And what do you think about David Backes being a healthy scratch the other day? Were you a fan of that, or were you not a fan of that?
I think if you were going to healthy scratch anybody, it makes sense to healthy scratch him.
Okay.
So I'm not really a fan of what they do, the 7D approach, but if they were going to scratch anybody, that's who they should have.
Okay.
So it's okay.
That's why it's an interesting take when it's his former team that he's having to face
Yeah.
in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
That's
It's got to be emotional for him, right?
Yes, that's why I just want to see what your take on that was, because I mean, I do feel like he is the slowest player for the Bruins.
Yeah, he's the slowest player. I think he plays, if not the least amount of time on the ice. He's down there. I don't think he plays more than 10 minutes a game. And he served his purpose against Toronto and Columbus. But it just seems like maybe he's a little gassed. Maybe he's a little tired. He hasn't been effective in this series, it seems.
No, I agree with that. I was
Yeah.
hoping he would. I just thought that maybe it'd be kind of light a fire at him and be able to do something else. But
I've seen him getting pushed around more than pushing people around. Let's just put it that way.
wow. Okay. All right. Michael, how are you doing over there?
Doing good.
You're planning on how to ruin the Bruins series over there tonight, right? Is that what's going on?
No, I'm a Bruins fan.
You're a Bruins fan.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I was just curious. I mean, it's It's an interesting take here, where you get to listen in on the show live on the studio. I know I'm not Peter White. I'm sorry about this. You're a big fan of the Peter White in the Morning Show. I applaud you for getting up so early. I've only been on the show once, and I think that's because I didn't really sleep after the Patriots won the Super Bowl this past year.
Yeah, that's when you just stay awake.
Yeah, I was pumped, and he was like, "All right, you want to be on the show?" I was like, "All right, let's go. I'll do this."
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, all right, I know you're here at least Monday through Friday, but to actually be here on a Saturday, So yeah, you got the Red Sox out at 105 today. You got the Fisher Cats at 135.
Yep.
And then you got the Bruins and Blues at 8 o'clock, which of course the games don't start till 8:15 because they got to do all sorts of pre-game stuff.
It's
so
more like 8:25.
yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be a long night for everyone here tonight. You were saying something, Mr. Martineau?
I wasn't.
Oh, all right. Well, never mind. I guess he's not going to say anything.
Did you guys see that picture of the old picture of Binnington when he was on the Bruins?
No.
That was only from like 2 years ago.
Yes, he was playing in Providence.
Yeah, but he wasn't really on the Bruins.
I was in my short time I lived in Des Moines, Iowa. The gosh, I don't even remember the name of the team. Their goalie. Apparently, at the time, we had 5 goalies in our between the Providence Bruins, and then I remember even what the Double A was.
Portland, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was Portland at the
Oh,
time.
okay.
Portland
I thought
Pilots.
you meant on one team. I was,
No,
what?
so we had 5. Obviously, we don't need 5 goalies, so we loaned one out to the Iowa team. So it was funny to see this guy playing for the I think it was the Iowa Wilds. I'm remembering this now. And he, had kind of like a Minnesota Wild type uniform, but there he was with a Bruins mask on.
It's got to be weird, if you're playing for the team but you're not on the team.
Yeah, like you're
how
still
you
trying to
gonna be
get
received.
You're trying to get still worked out and getting as much game time as you can, but you're getting loaned out to a different team than you're actually not even like. Hopefully they didn't play him when those two teams had to face each other. If say like the Wild and the Bruins were having to face each other, then he wouldn't have to play. But it made going to the Iowa Wild games a little bit more interesting to knowing that we had the Bruins goalie on the Iowa team. So weird how the NHL allows that to happen sometimes. Instead of just trading them, it's like, soccer does the same thing. That's true too.
Yeah, good loan players and
Yeah,
all
that is
kind of
weird.
stuff.
It's like, you
Not
guys
sure
won
why it
6-1.
happens.
We want him back now. Make him fly out tomorrow. All right. I looked up the list, guys. I'm gonna switch topics here for just a moment. Here, I'm gonna go back to hockey. The best. I don't know if best is the right word. The most interesting injuries of Stanley Cup Finals with Chara's broken jaw in Game 4. Bob Bond, 1964 Stanley Cup playoffs, played with a broken ankle.
Ugh.
Yeah, can you? Oh gosh.
So was it like he broke his ankle and then played another game, or he broke his ankle in a game? And finished
In
the
Game 6 of the 1964 Stanley Cup Final against Detroit, the defenseman took a Gordie Howe slap shot off his foot and was carried away on a stretcher on a broken ankle. His ankle wrapped tightly, and some painkillers later, Bond returned to the ice to eventually score the game-winning goal in overtime.
Are you kidding me?
Toronto would win Game 7 of the Cup. Bond later called it the best break I ever had.
That's insane.
So last time this a Toronto team won a championship was 1964, and that could possibly change tomorrow night as well.
And we thought Campbell was tough just for killing a penalty kill.
I just like how it's
Dude
like
comes out and scores a game-winning goal.
his ankle wrapped tightly, and some painkillers later. He returned to the ice and eventually scored the game-winning goal in overtime. That's pretty good right
those
there.
Those painkillers are not as easily available these days.
1992 Stanley Cup Finals, Mario Lemieux played with a broken hand.
I did hear about that.
A
Marchand might
reckless
be playing the
slash.
same
New York Rangers forward Adam Graves was suspended 4 games for his reckless slash that broke Mario Lemieux's left hand in the second-round playoff series.
Suspended 4 games for
4
a
games
slash.
for a slash, yeah.
I couldn't even imagine that happening today. Wow. Unless it was like you slashed somebody over the back of the head.
Mario Lemieux never practiced with that broken hand, but he would show up for the games, and he didn't miss a beat. He was a superstar.
I think when you're Mario Lemieux, how much practice do you really need?
I mean, he scored 6 seconds on his first shift in hockey.
That's insane.
6 seconds, guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's like taking the first pitch and hitting a grand slam or something like that, like in baseball. Like you take the very first pitch, and it's just. I hated Mario Lemieux for a while because my best friend growing up loved the Penguins, and I didn't want to root for the Penguins, so I grew up saying a lot of mean things about Mario Lemieux, but I take it back because he was literally a superstar, and he's kind of like a Ted Williams where he in his prime, he was taken away from the sport for a little bit. Yeah. And unfortunately, cancer sucks. We all can agree with that. And Mario Lemieux beat cancer, and he won some cups, and he was a phenomenal player.
I got to see him play.
Oh, snap.
1993 or 96, the Bruins were hosting the Penguins in town. My dad took me to the game. I saw Ray Bourque, Cam Neely, Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr.
Oh my gosh,
I was only 3, but I remember it super clearly. The Stanley Cup was there. It was a great time. First Bruins game ever. No wonder I'm a fan.
Yeah, no wonder why you're a fan. Jeez.
I think we won too.
Oh my gosh. 1994 Stanley Cup playoffs. Patrick Waugh, appendicitis.
Ooh.
Not all playoff injuries are a result of opposition's actions. In 1994, during a series against the Boston Bruins, the Canadiens goaltender developed early signs of appendicitis the day before Game 3, and was in the hospital when backup Rog Tugnutt lost to the Bruins. Roy couldn't stomach this, so he returned to the play the next 4 games and had a 60 save performance. 60 save in Game 5.
Yep.
After the Canadiens were eliminated in the first round, Roy had his appendix removed. So I never knew that.
Patrick Waugh.
Waugh, sorry, yes. Okay. I'm so used
there are certain people who lose their
I
minds.
said it right the first time, though.
Yeah,
right?
you did.
I did. So
weird.
apparently just me reading. I need to, read better. All right, no big deal. Patrick Waugh, yes. Appendicitis. I mean, 60 saves, that's a lot.
Yeah, I remember hearing that because I think I was talking to my dad about Jordan playing with the flu, and then he told me that story. I was like, oh my God.
Appendix are so weird. I don't know human anatomy all that well and stuff like that, but for an object that has no point to the body, and when it fails hard, and you go down fast.
Yeah.
Steve Yzerman, 2002 Stanley Cup Finals, a knee injury. This was less about an injury suffered in the playoffs than one. The 36-year-old ring played in the. So it was a result of the 2002 Olympics where he had the injury.
Oh man.
And in an MRI showed he had almost no cartilage left in his right knee, but he played on taking painkillers, injections, and before each game on the Detroit's run to the Stanley Cup, scored 23 points in 23 games. That's some good painkillers right there. Holy crap.
Like I said, man, those painkillers are not as easily available.
He had a reconstructive knee surgery in the offseason. His surgeon, urging retirement, said he missed all but 16 games in the next season, but he would go on to play 2 more seasons thereafter. But he did win that 2002 Stanley Cup with the Detroit Red Wings. So that's...
Yeah, how's his knee now?
I was going to say, I guarantee you can tell when it's going to be raining or snowing. This one is very welcome back, Anthony. I'm glad you were able to get back to us. I believe you're here there, all right?
I'm here.
Okay. Thank you for being very respectful of the show there while you had to go do some business. 2003 Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't think this would work these days, but Paul Kariya getting a concussion and coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul Kariya was skating up the way, and New Jersey Devils defenseman Scott Stevens took a headshot. Kariya had a history of concussions and still was able to come back, but it just wasn't. It shouldn't have happened. It definitely would not have happened today. But props to him for that. I got a few more. Philadelphia Flyers. This one hurts still because the Bruins were knocked out in 7 games when we were up 3-0. But forward for the Philadelphia Flyers had Ian Lapierre, had 7 teeth knocked out. He took a slap shot to the mug that knocked out 7 teeth and required 100 stitches to repair.
Wow.
100 stitches? Gee, I've had 5. And I
don't think I've had any.
You haven't had any yet?
No.
I'm careful doing dishes. That's all I can say. Dishes got me right there.
Or hammers.
Hammers got you.
A couple things have got me.
How many stitches are you up to right now, Anthony?
all time?
All time, yes.
Oh, I don't think it's that many. I think it's probably like I had to get probably like 16 altogether. I've needed them 3 separate times. It's not that much.
There was a time where I could have gotten stitches, but I waited too long to go to the ER. So
Yeah, I have one of
That's
those.
what happened with me one time, and
Yeah.
they still put like 3 or 4 in. But
Yeah, I got mark on my
that
hand
scares the hell out of me now.
Mhm.
falling on wet rocks and tried to catch myself and it was
Could you imagine 100 though?
well, there's more to the story. I stopped there.
100 on your face, too.
100 on your face, Mr. Martineau. How many stitches? You have 0 too.
Nice.
Gosh, all right. So, Anthony, you and I, buddy, we're gonna be the stitch crew here.
More manual labor.
Yeah, exactly. Ian LaPierre, the same guy who had his 17th knocked out and required 100 stitches. In the first round of the playoffs, he blocked a Paul Martin slap shot in the face, fractured his right orbital bone, and suffered a concussion.
Ooh,
He
that's
thought
the
he
one
might-
that's, like part of your eye socket, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he thought he might have lost his eye. Nonetheless, he returned to the Flyers lineup a month later for the final 8 playoff games. This guy was a beast in 2010. I'll
Wow.
give him that. I don't know. I don't remember this thing because I
What
think.
does his face look like now?
Well, have you ever seen the Goonies?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take a guess of that. No offense to Ian LaPierre. He seems like a wonderful guy, and he obviously
Those
worked
Flyers
hard.
fans still talk about that series though, so
Oh, man. Yeah, you can definitely see where that puck hit him.
Oh, you looked it up.
You could,
Oh
there's
gosh.
like a
Okay.
dent on the side of his nose.
Oh.
Oh, that looks bad. He's not a bad looking guy. You can obviously see where the puck hit him.
Okay. 2010 Stanley Cup Finals. The Blackhawks, their first Stanley Cup victory. Duncan Keith lost 7 teeth as well. Gosh, I mean, I'm surprised Char didn't lose any teeth.
Yeah, I think he was lucky it hit him like on the chin.
Oh gosh.
like
So
8 feet tall. His face doesn't usually get in the way of those types of things.
yeah.
All right, so they did the 7 teeth. 2 of them fell out of his mouth. 1 got stuck in his throat, and then he had to cough it up. The others disintegrated. He returned to the game after team doctors froze his gums to numb the pain.
Holy crap.
Duncan
That's
Keith, man,
insane.
congratulations to that. Derek Steffen, 2014 Stanley Cup Finals. He also played with a broken jaw, and he had the same exact piece to his helmet that Chara does. Sean Coutier, I think that's how you
Oh,
say
I
his
haven't
name.
heard that name in a while.
Couturier.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I apologize. I don't know all my French last names.
Okay.
2018 Stanley Cup Finals. Played with a torn MCL.
Wow.
Oof.
Yeah, that's oof. I mean, I guess
I guess skating, you just need to kind of get yourself enough pressure to be able to glide, and then you can
I mean you see
let
it
it
with
off, I guess.
Brady plays with the same exact kind of thing on his knee, where I mean it definitely seems like it takes some of the pain and keeps your knee in one spot instead of being able to rotate as well. That's
insane.
tough though. Torn MCL.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. How many injuries hockey players acquire?
It is a lot. I mean, we can talk about the Raptors series in just a little bit about Van Fleet getting his teeth knocked out, because that's an interesting thing to see Toronto ahead of Golden State so much. But I know you're still looking down at your list, so you have more things to go over with the Bruins.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a couple things. So obviously we all know Tuukka's been great.
I agreed with that.
Best player on the team as far as I'm concerned. He hasn't had a save percentage below 900 in the series. But there are a lot of other players that the Bruins have, key players that have not been producing. They need to step up, and I'm going to call them out right now.
You love it. Calling it out.
So David Pastrnak, 0 points in the last 2 games. He does have 4 shots on goal in Game 4 and 6 in Game 5. So keep shooting at Pasta. Maybe you'll eventually get one. Bergeron, he has 1 assist in the last 2 games, 2 goals and 3 shots on goal respectively. Marchand, he has 1 assist, no shots on goal. Game 4, 4 in Game 5. So he did a little bit better. But with Marchand, no points in 11 straight games in 5-on-5.
Yes.
And the top line has 0 points as well in the whole series 5-on-5. So what the heck, guys?
Figure this out.
Yeah, figure it out. What are you doing? You guys were the best line in hockey all the regular season. I don't know what's going on, but
You were feared by 31 other teams.
feared. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
now St. Louis is like, oh, we'll just make that 30.
We're gonna
Yeah.
beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, but they're not the only people who have been producing. David Krejci, 0 points in the series, 6 shots on goal. Let's see here. DeBrusk, he's been a little bit better. He actually has 2 shots on goal and a goal that he actually scored in the last one. So credit to him. But I would love to see a little bit more out of him and Krejci. Krug. He hasn't really done anything. He's just a -3 rating for Game 4. He had that nice assist. Credit to him for fighting through the high stick that was a delayed penalty, and he just dished it right out to DeBrusk. We need to see a lot more of that. Maybe not taking a high stick.
Yeah,
But,
no
you
need
know,
to do that.
Just need to see a lot more heads-up plays from them and playing with sense of urgency.
I hope
McAvoy.
we really try and cross the line tonight.
McAvoy, 1 goal, May 27th. Hasn't done
May
anything
27th.
since. Hasn't
Jeez.
done anything since.
It is.
So yeah, those guys
Tough look.
need to step it up. And I want to give credit to a couple of Blues players for playing very well.
Oh, it's tough to do, huh?
The local boy, Zach
Yeah,
Sanford.
I know.
3 points, all assists in every game he's played. He's had an assist in
Wow.
this series. So three games, 3 assists. He's
Stop
been playing
it.
great, and he had a really nice dish back to I think it was O'Reilly for that backhand goal. So before that first goal against Tuca in Game 5, where O'Reilly brought it over to the glove side and had a nice little backhander, right to set him up. Sanford, I think he had 2 Bruins players on him behind the net, and he passed it behind, like no look, between his legs, right on O'Reilly's tape, and it was a perfect play. Credit to them. And O'Reilly, have you heard his nickname?
Clutch? I don't even know.
The Factor.
The Factor.
The O'Reilly Factor.
Oh! Well.
Right? But he has been a factor. 3 goals in the last 2 games, and he's been completely shutting Krejci down. I think he's the reason Krejci hasn't been playing well. And he's against Krejci in the face-off circle. He's 12 for 15.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like the face-off differential has been pretty interesting.
Oh, that's a big, yeah. If you want to be able to set up plays the way you want to, you better be winning those face-offs.
I mean, I know one of the games, we won the face-off, but they immediately just stole the puck and went the other way with it. It was like, it was very frustrating to be like, oh, damn it, like Bergeron won it, but the guy was so quick for the Blues to just be able to take it and go the other way with it.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2 where I was like, come on, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah. So the traditional lines that we've been going with all season haven't really been working. And I would like to see...
Yeah, we've done a lot of changing of the lines lately. In last game, definitely there was some players playing together that we're not used to at all.
But I don't know how good that is if you're constantly changing the lines in the game. I would like to see Cassidy just start the game with different lines than we've seen. Maybe I thought it might be a good idea to put Pasternak on the 3rd line with Coyle and Johansson. Give them a little bit extra speed. Coyle, he's good at throwing the body around. He's good for like 1 or up to like I think 3 at the most good hits in this series per game. So that'll help keep Pasta, give him a little bit protection, and they'll have another really great scorer on their line and give that line more minutes. And I don't know, you could probably move Heinen up with Marchand and Bergeron. He looked pretty good with them in the regular season. And as for the second line, I think I would keep DeBrusk and Krejci together, but probably put maybe Kuhlman out there because he can kind of skate around a little bit better than Backus can.
A little bit, no big deal.
He's pretty good at that. If Wagner comes back, I think that makes it really easy. You put Wagner on the 4th line and move Nordstrom up to the 2nd line with DeBrusk and Krejci because they had some good chemistry earlier in the season.
Huh. All right. Interesting little. I love these takes here, Cam.
Yeah. I don't think any of it's going to happen. I hope it does.
Well, I mean, it's all you can do, right?
That's what I would do if I was in Cassidy's shoes.
Well, I know we only have 7 minutes from our guest here, Mr. Martineau, who's been just sitting back, relaxing, acting all cool on the couch over here. But
Just tolerating me.
he just, I mean, I know the hockey's not your sport. You've been able to sit through this, but I figured I'd let you throw out whatever you want for the next 7 minutes since we have the time here. You got any mornings with Peter White this week, or what's going on?
Fisher Cats are away. They head on the road after the game today, so I got a golf tournament at 10 on Friday. But other than that,
Are you working or going to the NHIA D1 and D2 baseball championships tomorrow?
I will be.
Are you working or are you enjoying as a fan?
I'm gonna go enjoy as a fan.
Oh wow, okay.
They only open up one stand for those, so
Oh
they
what? They don't up the whole.
No,
What?
No,
That seems silly.
or it, so you don't have. It reduces payroll costs and all that. Yeah.
Oh gosh, always comes down to the money.
Yeah.
Always the money. All right, I
Yeah.
see how it is.
Yeah. So both would be good games, and then it's just a nice, easy week for me. A golf tournament on Friday for HCI. I'll be working that. Other than
How's
that,
your golf game?
I play occasionally.
Are you better at mini golf or regular golf?
I'm definitely better at mini golf.
All right, that's what I was
Oh my
just
God.
curious how your golf game was.
The last time I played golf was last August. I hadn't played in 2.5 years.
Oh lordy, so we've played 1 round of golf in 3 years, Mr. Martineau.
Or since my grandfather was a great golfer, and so basically he was a member of Interville, so I joined up a bunch of time. But ever since he died about 3 years ago, it's been like, So I'm like, it's 9 holes. How bad can I do?
Yeah.
Oh my.
You can figure that out very quick with golf.
Oh my God. Just getting to the opening hole was a challenge. Oh my God.
Now I don't see you very angry very often. Do you get angry on the golf course when your ball doesn't slices or anything like that, or your shot doesn't go the way you want? Have you ever thrown a golf club?
I've broken a couple.
You've broken. Jeez.
or on a couple drives because I hit it too hard. But other than that, it's
Wow.
But,
Yeah, I broke some drivers back in the day before I knew how to golf very well.
Yeah.
I definitely owe a kid I grew up with probably like a good amount of money.
I just broke a driver and got a new one.
Oh,
Thankfully,
okay.
my dad had one that my grandpa had passed down to him after he passed away.
Yeah,
I
when
got a
that-
nice new King Cobra.
When that head of the golf club just starts flying as far as the ball is, they're like, oh shoot, oh man. And it was at the driving range, so of course there's like 20 other people that are like laughing at me. I'm like, shit. Oh, excuse me, dump. Well, that's my own fault there. Well, hopefully that worked. We'll play with that later on to make sure that gets edited out. But yes, Fisher Cats today. We're gonna go back to that topic. Playing the Richmond Flying Squirrels.
yeah.
The scariest baseball name I've heard in a while. There, up there with the Rumble Ponies and the Rubber Ducks. I believe that's another.
Have you not heard of the Yard Goats?
The Yard Goats.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Yard Goats.
Yeah, there is. I
The
give.
Jumbo Shrimp?
Is that really a name? Oh man,
Yes,
Anthony.
Marlins single A team.
If you want to look up, we can go into that later after a little bit because that could be fun to go through these different names because I've never heard of the Jumbo Shrimp.
And the Fisher Cats are the Mountain Men today.
The Mountain Men.
Yeah.
What the heck? What do you mean the Mountain Men? What happened to the Fisher Cats?
So basically, every Sunday home game this year, they kind of like a throwback, or it's not really a. Basically, Mountain Men, when the team was first named back in 2004, when they had a contest to name the team, that was.
Oh, so they're going back
Huh.
to the.
Okay.
So
Kind of like wearing
the
Whalers
primaries.
jerseys.
They were the primaries at one point, right?
Yeah, kind of like that. And,
Oh, I like that.
and
They're the New Hampshire
a good name.
primaries at one point.
That's a good name.
They had 2 mascots, obviously the elephant and the donkey.
They were called the primaries?
They were the primaries.
yeah,
Oh, that's awful.
Oh, you don't like that, Anthony?
That was
No.
I love that.
that was before the first season of the Fisher Cats back in 2004. Then
Yeah.
they they changed it.
Politics out of baseball.
Exactly what it was. Too many people got upset, and they're like, "This is ridiculous." So
Yeah.
that's why they have Fisher Cats. But I didn't know the Mountain Men were an interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So every Sunday home game, and last night was Spanish night. So they
Oh, Espanol.
yeah
Ay, ay, ay.
yeah
Um,
yeah.
Let's see if I can look up what they were last night.
Gatos
Gatos.
de Friosis, something like that.
Huh.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
But today, if anyone's interested, it's a 1:35 start. Promotions going on today is kids get to run the bases after the game. So
Yeah.
if anyone wants to bring their kids and run the bases after the game, make sure your kids are hydrated though, because it will be hot out there.
Yeah.
As you just said, I didn't even read further on. The Mountain Men Sunday, they'll have special hats, jerseys, entertainment, and more. So there'll be the New Hampshire Mountain Men this Sunday.
Okay.
And it's also
How about
Girl
that?
Scout Day. Girl Scouts from across New Hampshire will join us for the opportunity to earn badges as well as welcoming the team to the field before the game. Hopefully they bring some cookies.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just wrong of me to say, but I'm just...
I think you pretty much hope there's cookies
Okay.
anytime there's Girl
Yeah.
Scouts around.
all right, I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels this. I just
Yeah.
I saw that, and I mean...
It's really the only reason I ever get excited about Girl Scouts is the cookies.
Obviously, we're talking about the championship games tomorrow in baseball, but on June 18th, I see the other promotions going on. That game will be against the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. The promotions going on that night, Tall Boy Tuesday.
Yep.
Ooh.
Tall Boy Tuesday, and also the winners of the state champions from all the NHIA softball and baseball will also be there.
Or
But-
it's all sports throughout the school year.
oh, it's all sports. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that'll be a fun game too. But Tall Boy Tuesday, I know that
Yeah.
that kind of got our attention too. But Mr. Marno, I wish you the best of luck
Yeah.
on your day. I hope
Yeah.
you stay hydrated as well. I mean,
Am I going to see you down there, or are you?
you'll have to find out at 1:35, now,
I-
won't you?
Yeah. Hopefully, see you there next time.
You keep the condiments full, and I'll see what I can do for you, Mr.
Yep.
Marno. But it's always a
Big
pleasure to hear.
ketchup guy, huh?
Yep.
He's a big ketchup. He's got the mustard and ketchup on his shirt already. So he's looking forward to a fun day here. But we will always welcome you to the show, and you have yourself a good day, sir. But
Good one, man.
we'll get back to the show here. It's it's a surprise to see him this morning. He's like, "Hey, can I talk?" I'm like, "Sure." And so that's why it was funny to see him come in. And I was like, "Oh, you know, all right. Well, we'll keep to the hockey talk." But I do want to mention, because last week, Anthony, we did not talk really anything about the NBA Finals, and
We got in as much as we needed to.
That's true.
Like a few minutes.
that's
We
true.
didn't really need to cover much more than that.
If you guys haven't heard this, I'm gonna play this right now, and this is obviously a little bit longer of a clip than I would expect, but Jimmy Kimmel, phenomenal comedian, great show. I know there's a lot of different choices, and some of us can't stay up that late, but he had one of his guys go to Toronto and try to get the Toronto fans to trash talk against the Golden State Warriors.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
And I want to play this because the fans in Toronto are very polite. The Canadians in general are very polite people.
The
And
ones I've interacted with
Well,
in the last couple months.
were they Montreal or where were they?
Oh, they were Toronto fans.
They're Toronto fans.
I got into it with some Toronto fans on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to talk basketball here, and I'm going to play this clip because it's quite entertaining listening to these Raptors fans trash talk the Golden State Warriors. So enjoy this from Jimmy Kimmel Live here.
Game 3 of the NBA Finals. It is a contest between the Golden State Warriors and the Raptors of Toronto, who are tied at a game apiece going in. Kevin Durant was out of the lineup again without their
This is
secret
obviously a few
weapon. The
games ago,
Warriors
but-
were forced to rely on their 6 other secret weapons tonight. And this has been a very interesting week for the city of Oakland. Not only are they hosting their 5th NBA Finals in a row, their city council yesterday voted to decriminalize peyote, ayahuasca, and hallucinogenic mushrooms.
Interesting take right there. I was not aware of this.
In Oakland, we're watching their wallpaper tonight than Game 3. But for those who were watching, this is what the game looked like.
But that's poor communication. You had both guys leave the ball. Leonard shot just five.
international.
I'm gonna
NBA
fast forward here
finals.
for a
It's
few
been
minutes,
pretty
'cause-
low key. Not that they aren't excited, but they're very excited. But Canadians aren't as what is the word? Terrible as we are. They are, as a general rule, polite and friendly people. But what happens when sports gets
can be.
involved? When rivalries rear their ugly heads? We wanted to find out, so we sent a camera crew north to Toronto, and we asked Raptors fans to talk some trash, to give us the best of their worst, and, well, this is what we got.
Trash talk. We're talking to Canadians and asking them to trash talk the Warriors. You ready? Trash talk. No. We don't do that here. And we are asking Canadians to trash
We
talk
don't
the
do that
Golden State
here.
Warriors. You ready? Trash talk.
I would not do that against anybody. Canadians don't do that.
Let me hear you trash talk the Warriors a little bit. Trash talk.
No. We are polite. We are Canadians.
I mean, they're a great team. I don't think I can trash talk them. I think they're in the finals for a reason.
Why would I trash talk them? They haven't done nothing wrong to me or my team. All I'm saying is everybody's playing right. So if they want to win, they better play better than us. That's all I can say.
Honest.
Pretty harsh, Lou.
Golden State ain't so golden anymore, huh?
Wow.
You're losing tonight. You're losing. That's it. That's my trash talk.
Trash talk.
Well, we're Trini, so we cook curry, so curry's gonna get cooked.
Ooh, that was a good one, actually.
Go to hell. Oh, no, I don't mean that. I just mean I hope you don't win.
No trash. No. We'll console them when they lose.
Ready? Console.
Console. Well,
That guy
better
is
luck
trash
next time.
talking.
It's about time for Toronto to be number one. Hey.
Oh no, we won't trash talk. We'll just console them when they lose.
Console them when they lose. I mean, that's. Thank you, Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel Live for that.
Oh, good. I'm glad there was actually some good ones in there.
Yes, but at the same time, they used a little bit of an older crowd to get some trash talk.
Yeah.
From what you might have been talking with on Twitter, it might have been more younger. Like,
I feel like the Drake crowd and the young kids
Exactly.
Might have gone a little differently.
oh my God, I
Yeah.
can't. I think I've lost the respect for Drake a little bit because
Yeah.
he's so dumb on his Instagram or video posting where he's just like, yo, look at us, we're winning. And I was like, okay, cool.
Like, no, you're not winning.
You're not winning. You're just
Somebody's
a fan.
winning.
And it must be nice to have millions of dollars to be able to buy the tickets and do whatever you want on the sidelines.
And I never really liked Drake in the first place. Some of his songs are okay, I guess. And yeah, it's just been so annoying. I was gonna say in that video, like, go ask Drake what he thinks.
Oh, that would have been great.
But yeah,
I don't think that would have been PG or PG-13 at that rate.
I wonder how many of those people are actually like basketball fans too. Because
they had their jerseys on, but you can make people wear jerseys,
yeah,
right?
you can set anything up, and you can edit out, and you can take the takes
absolutely.
that you want to use, and
I think you and I have learned that pretty well.
I just think basketball is still kind of a young sport in Canada, and that it's more for the younger crowds, and that the older people in Canada are probably more into hockey. And if you went there while the Bruins were playing Toronto, and then you asked them to trash talk Boston, they would have no problem. Toronto hates Boston. I've never gotten into more arguments over sports with anyone except for Toronto fans. And it's I think it really is. I think Toronto genuinely does hate Boston, because I wore my Bruins gear the one time I've been to Montreal. I showed up in like full Bruins garb, and they were very polite. They were just like, haha, that's cute. And they were very nice to me though in Montreal, but in Toronto, I think it's different. I think it's just hatred.
We've ruined their seasons
Exactly.
3 times in the past 6 years or something like that.
Exactly. So I think in the right situations, in the right context, at the right time, Canadians can be very vicious. They're like Wolverines up there.
That's a fair.
I'll buy that.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. I can handle that. I mean, we've seen, obviously, you and I have both been around TV, so we know how much the editing can do to make things, seem better than what they might be.
Oh, yeah.
Or worse than what they really are.
Are you saying people lie in the media?
No, that would
No.
never. That's never happened.
Lies too hard of a
Bite your
term.
tongue, sir.
Oh, well, hey, that's why I just try to do 4 high school softball games to make that action seem as real as I could make it.
There you go.
I want to get into this a little bit. The executive for the Golden State Warriors, who threw a little shove to Toronto guard Kyle Lowry the other day.
Yeah.
The NBA has decided on a 1-year ban and a $500,000 fine for, Kyle Lowry was trying to go into the stands to save a ball before it went out of bounds. He jumped on, he landed in the stands, and the executive kind of threw a forearm shove to Lowry to get him out of there. Fans and being able to, NBA is tough. There's only so much room on the sidelines for players to go out there. Do you feel like that was a acceptable fine for this executive? We didn't know who he was until the other day, and now all of a sudden he's
$500K. He's the co-owner of the team. I think that's a good amount of money.
I don't know if it's going to put a dent in his pockets, but
a Warriors investor.
I guess they got to make it look like they're doing something.
And 1 year suspended. So what does that mean? He can't go.
He can't go to a game.
games?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can't go to a game of a team you own. I don't know how well that.
Yeah,
holds up there.
he probably has rights just to be in the building whenever he wants.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know how that's gonna
Or they'll
work.
be like, no, you just can't be courtside. You just have to stay in your luxury box. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
man.
probably all they can really do.
Real rough.
Mark Stevens, a Warriors investor and member of the team's executive board, was banned from the NBA for 1 year. Kyle Lowry dove into the row of courtside seats in an effort to save a loose ball. Stevens, wearing an NBA-issued credential, was seated about 2 spots away from where Lowry landed. Stevens shoved Lowry in the upper body, and Lowry said he repeated a vulgar phrase to him about 4 times during the brief incident. Kind of a tough situation. I definitely, you don't really see it too often in baseball, obviously, because we have, the nets actually might be expanded from what I saw. After
after those 2
bad incidents there, especially with the Chicago Cubs. He took that
guy
hard.
Broke down crying.
You don't want to see any fans get injured. Never mind, a small child.
Yeah, especially when you're a recent dad yourself, right?
Yes, he was a recent dad, and he just, he thought about his son in that situation, and it's it definitely you felt for him because he's just trying to get a hit. He saw the pitch, thought he could hit it, and was way ahead of it.
Yeah, sounds like that girl's okay though. She was crying right away, so she was alert. And I've heard that it sounds like she's gonna be all right.
And then with hockey, obviously we got the glass in the 70s.
Yeah.
Obviously the glass was a lot lower, and there was a lot more fans incidents. I even remember in the 90s, Ty Domi squirted a water bottle on a player on a fan behind the glass. And
they were so short. Milbury and O'Reilly were able
yes,
to
exactly.
They were able to climb him. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. There was, I feel like hockey isn't a big issue. Obviously, the Bruins fans were throwing stuff on the ice the other day after that non-call.
So were the Blues fans after the hand pass non-call against the Sharks. So whatever.
Yeah, so thankfully we didn't get a penalty called on us for delay a game or anything like that from that. But that's just a tough thing. But yeah, the Toronto Raptors, man, interesting to see the Kawhi Leonard, who everyone kind of thought he gave up on the Spurs when he was with them, is playing really well. The series the other day when he hit a 3, went down, played defense, stole the ball, brought the ball up, and hit another 3 was just like, holy crap! How do you play defense against a guy who's 6'10" or something like that, who's knocking down threes? That's a very difficult thing to do for Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, who are only 6'3".
Yeah, normal size people.
Normal size guys. Don't get me wrong, they're incredible. And Klay Thompson playing with a really injured hamstring, and we haven't even seen Durant since the first round of the playoffs. He was the MVP, Finals MVP the past 2 years, and now here he is, not even being able to play. I think it's playing a huge factor with playing down low and being able to rebound for the Golden State Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So. Interesting. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. We might have a new champion, and we might have a championship in Canada who's hasn't had one in a long time.
That would probably make up for them losing to the Bruins.
We can only hope. Toronto is an interesting city. I kind of enjoy watching them lose, though.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
Love it.
I mean, when they all get together and Toronto Square or whatever it is, Maple Leaf Square. I don't even know what it is, and they just show all the fans that are out there. Just they're excited at one point, and then just see them all standing there lost after their team loses.
They're so passionate, you know.
Exactly.
It's great reactions every time. You know, I think it's not that I really have any animosity towards Toronto.
No, absolutely not.
I
It
love
looks like
seeing
a
their
beautiful city.
reactions. They have great reactions. I don't like it when they're celebrating. You know,
at the same level as us in a while. We haven't had that rivalry.
Which team again, Anthony? The Blue Jays?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Blue Jays definitely.
We've never been good at the same time.
No, we really haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up,
Like
I
those-
remember. I mean, the Joe Carter home run. I remember as a very young child and like being like, "Oh, wow, Toronto! Look at that! Like they won they beat the Phillies or something like that." And
That was the year I was born, so I can't say I have any memories of that one. But
But yeah, I mean, growing up, it was the Carlos Delgado, and I'm trying to think of other.
Roy Halladay.
Roy Halladay, yeah.
Us.
Chris Carpenter was up. Was he? Yeah, I think he was up. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other really good Blue Jays players over the past 15 years. I'm kind of struggling on this, guys, a little bit. I might have to look into that, but
They had a lot of weird teams too, like when they had David Price and when they pulled that huge trade in from what was it, Miami or Toronto, when they got like Jose Reyes and Troy Tulowitzki. Oh no, that was the Rockies one. I don't remember.
Well,
then when they were in the ALCS a couple of years ago, that was the 2 seasons that the Red Sox were in dead last.
One of my heavies heavies that I have for you guys today, which is actually a very interesting kind of, is it the right thing or is it not the right thing? All right. So Tuesday nights, the Hartford Yard Goats and the Trenton Thunder were facing each other. Both players that play against the AA, New Hampshire Fisher Cats here. The Yard Goats, the Rockies AA affiliate, were 2 outs away from closing out the no-hitter with their 4th pitcher on the mound. It was just a 3-0 game, but the player bunted to get on base to break up the no-hitter.
What was the score?
It was 3-0. You're just 2 outs away from the no-hitter when, Matt Lipka need to get on base by any means necessary, including a little push bunt up the first base line that closer Ben Bowden tried and failed to scoop over the putout. Here's the let's hear the play-by-play call for this here for it's a GIF. Damn it. All right. So he took the closer took the ball and didn't even take it out of his glove and just tried to scoop it over to first base and that guy's really fast. I'll give him that. Holy smokes. Well, let's see. And then aftermath, there was a brawl. I'm going to stop that because that was really loud.
Yeah.
That was really loud. Interesting. But yes, guys.
What, are we just trying to figure out like what
the
if it was a
protocol.
good
What do you
or a
think?
bad?
Do you think that's a good call or a bad call to bunt to get on base? The team's a no hitter, and it's only a few.
Obviously, there's the unwritten rule there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so you said it was a combined no hitter, so it wasn't even the same.
It wasn't even the
throughout
same
whole
pitcher
game.
exactly. So that's why.
And it was only 3-0. I say that plays because if that guy gets on base, and then the next guy gets on base, and then somebody hits a home run, or even the guy after him hits a home run,
The game's tied up.
That's either a tied up game or you're down by 1. So I think if it's within like 5 runs, if the guy's been out, like if the guy had been out there and he had thrown 87 pitches going into the inning, I'd say that's a totally different scenario than 4th pitcher of the game just happens to have a no hitter and you're only down 3 runs. Now that plays.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree. Everything Anthony just said.
I don't like it, but I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just one of those things where I agree with you. It's the unwritten. I'd like to see the book of the unwritten rules of baseball, just to kind of get. You can't cross the pitcher's mound.
That's the whole point, Kyle. You can't.
Like, come on. Yeah, I want to read the unwritten rules of baseball. All right. Since we got over this one, Anthony, this one's for you. A Florida story. I know it's shocking. A fishing boat captain gets drunk and high and holds his charter passengers hostage at gunpoint.
I am the captain now.
I am the captain now. A day of fishing on the Gulf turned into terror last Sunday when a Sarasota charter captain, allegedly under the influence of alcohol and drugs, became angry, threatened to shoot his passengers, and then shot a handgun into the water from the vessel's flying bridge about 60 miles offshore.
Jeez.
Yep. He, Bradenton resident Carlo Lop, paid $2,000 for the 12-hour fishing trip Sunday for his friends and family, but the trip turned sour about 7 hours later after the group had caught their limit of red snapper. Along with this moment, the friends were asked to go get a beer from the captain's pail on the second deck, but the captain told the boy to put the beer back. The boy, thinking it was a joke, apparently took the beer, which set the captain off in anger. He grabbed the boy. He followed the boy down the ladder, grabbed him by a chain necklace he was wearing, breaking it. And then the captain went back up and basically held everyone hostage because he was that angry.
Over a beer?
Over a beer.
So I don't get how the trip turns sour because you catch your limit. Isn't that the point?
That's where
Yeah.
There's a lot of information to this story here.
You can go fishing for other fish too.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was a very interesting
Or
thing.
you can keep fishing and just toss them back.
Release. Yeah.
It's
I don't. That's weird. That guy. There's got to be more to that story.
That's all I got. But they didn't get back to the shore until 1 a.m. The captain continued to drink rum and take drugs, pretending to go to shore, but was just circling. Passengers used a compass on a cell phone to confirm that they were not moving towards shore, but were in fact going in circles.
I would have called the Coast Guard if I could.
Yeah.
I don't know how much cell reception they had.
60 miles offshore.
That's not too far, I guess.
I don't know how far cell service goes at that point, but you got satellites at that point. I feel like they would still connect.
Yeah, I don't think that would be the issue. I don't know. From what we've learned from all these different stories is do your drugs at home, everyone.
That's true.
Do your drugs at work.
Don't do them and end up in other people's houses, though, either.
You guys might have seen this story. I'm not sure if you have or not, but in Slidell, Louisiana, patrons started calling the police after Taco Bell ran out of both soft and hard taco shells.
Really?
Taco Bell. That's right. The fast food chain. They were calling the authorities to say that the Taco Bell had run out of taco shells and that it did not warrant an emergency call.
How old were these people?
It doesn't really say too much into it.
I bet you they weren't over the age of 25.
The Slidell, Louisiana Police Department issued a statement saying, while this is truly a travesty, the police cannot do anything about this. Hopefully they can be replenished in time for Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
I mean, how do you Taco Bell drop the ball there? How do you
run? Exactly. I mean, it's
the very essence of what makes a taco. You know, you without that, you just have a bunch of meat and veggies.
Oof.
And cheese.
I mean, for vegetarians, that sounds like probably a great thing.
Except for the meat.
Or the 98% of people that also go to like those burrito places and get bowls.
Going into another Taco Bell story, though,
yeah.
I will give Taco Bell credit. They've tried to keep themselves in the media this week. A Taco Oasis Taco Bell hotel coming to Palm Springs, California this summer. So if anyone wants to go, they're opening their hotel chain, The Bell, a hotel resort in Palm Springs this summer. Will open its doors in a limited time.
Still a fast food restaurant. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I just want to let you know that as of August 9th, they'll have a hotel restaurant in Palm Springs, California.
Makes me think it's like a Motel 6, but with a worse, restaurant attached to it, like all the other restaurants.
Yeah, so I most likely will not be going there to get my Taco Bell on. I don't think I need to stay at a Taco Bell hotel.
I quote the late great Obi-Wan Kenobi: "You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy."
Well played, sir. Well played. I like
Hey,
this.
You know, the other part there is they might actually legally have a reason to charge by the hour.
So my last story here before we get back into sports here, going back up to Canada, Stephen Mills from Fort McMurray, Alberta, was on a family camping trip with his wife and 2 children and his father-in-law. They were very bored, so they found this museum. The museum was actually shut down, but they contacted former employees and they were able to get into this museum because there was nothing going on apparently in at the Vermilion Heritage Museum in Alberta. Well, there was this safe there at this museum, and it has been locked for 40 years. This man, Stephen Mills, for basically fun and giggles, decided to try to unlock the safe, and he actually did it.
Wow.
The safe has been locked for 40 years. No one's been able to get into it. They've had locksmiths try to come unlock it. This guy went into it, decided to try using... I looked at the dial and saw the numbers were running from 0 to 60, so I thought in my head, 20, 40, 60. I did a particular combination, which is 3 on the right, 2 on the left, and 1 on the right. Tried the handle, and it opened.
What?
100%,
No way.
100% guess.
Get out of here.
But that's it. This is the story. The contents of the safe proved a little disappointing, though. Unfortunately, there wasn't much in there. Some old papers, old checks, a waitress notepad, and a receipt from the hotel that it was originally in.
Wow.
All the papers dated back to 1977-78. Nonetheless, Mills...
Well, that's the official story, right? What if there was like
that's true.
$1,000 in there and he just pocketed it?
Nonetheless, Mills said everyone was pretty excited about the lucky guess. My children kept screaming, "We beat the code! We beat the code!" So his kids were very excited about this. And maybe this you're not buying this one, okay?
A lot of coincidences going on here.
Yeah.
So wait, it was a closed hotel, right?
So the hotel has been closed. It was
Permanently closed.
It originally belonged to the town's Brunswick Hotel, which opened in the early 1900s. When the hotel shut down in the late 70s, the safe was locked, and so it remained closed. It was like a time capsule. No one had any idea what was in there.
They called former employees, and they were just like, "Yeah, I got nothing to do. I'll come back down and open it."
Yeah. So hold on. I know there was more information to the story, and I'll look into this as much as I can.
Freaking Canadians, man! Don't have time for anything else.
Like the part of Heavies Heavies where we
the museum was actually closed on the. The museum was actually closed the day we were there, but we managed to track down one of the volunteers, Tom Kibblewhite, who opened it for us and showed us around.
Okay, so it's just an off day. Okay.
It was an off day. Okay.
Yeah, the people that are into those historical places probably aren't doing a lot as it is. So
exactly. So
this is all making more sense.
After giving the Mills family a tour of the whole building, the volunteer proceeded to show them the objects in the basement, including a mysterious safe. It originally belonged to the hotel. So, like other visitors, Mill was offered the chance to crack the code to opening it. So he put his ear up to the safe, like you see in the movies. I looked at it, the dial, and wouldn't you know it, 20, 40, 60 in particular combination, he ended up getting it right. So whether you want to believe it or not, that's the story from Alberta for the Heavies Heavies for you this afternoon. So let me see if I can find a better one for you guys, just to get this. I guess I got to leave you guys, with a happy note.
You're gonna give us a fact or fiction every week. We have to figure out which one's the.
Well, I'm just
the real story.
Yeah, it's. I think I need to work harder, guys. That's all. I apologize.
Good. I like this because.
I don't know if I went through this one. This one was a few weeks ago, but we've only had so much time because we obviously have had a lot going on. Police in Arizona said a detective making a traffic stop on Interstate 10 was speaking to a driver from Oklahoma when he noticed the man's dead wife in the passenger seat.
Oh.
Yes, that's right. The 7-year-old Rodney Puckett said Monday that 74-year-old Linda Puckett died at a hotel in Texas, and he put her body in the car before continuing his trip. He was
Weekend at Bernie's stuff.
It's like it's that movie with Steve Carell and the Bumblebee girl in the Bumblebee costume.
Oh yeah,
it's like that.
Yes.
When their grandpa dies and they just stuff him in the back seat.
That's exactly what it was. He was arrested on suspicious of abandonment or concealment of a dead body. It is not known whether he has an attorney or anything on his behalf. All he was trying to do is get the body back to his home to do the right thing and deal with it from there. He didn't want to deal with it from the hotel in Texas, but he was arrested for apparently if you find a dead body, you got to call at that point.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Who would have thought? So
I would just be freaking out, and just for that reason, I would call somebody. Like,
yeah, but you would just stop to make small talk with a cop.
Well, he got pulled. It doesn't say what he was really pulled over for.
Traffic stop. For some reason, I just thought it was just like the cop standing on the side of the road with like the slow.
Oh no! Sorry, yeah, they were
like that. He was just.
They're pulled over on Interstate 10, which is a very long highway that goes across the country. I know I picked it up in Tulsa, and it went all the way to San Diego. So Highway 10 is a very popular one. But the body was returned to the Pinal County Medical Examiner's Office to determine the cause of death. Police did not respond to requests for additional information, including the couple's hometown in Oklahoma. So this guy was just trying to get back to Oklahoma from Texas with his wife in the passenger seats, no longer with them. So I will have more Heavies Heavies for you guys next week, but obviously we only have 15 minutes left of the show. I don't know if you guys want to get back to the NBA Finals. Actually, we haven't gone to Red Sox. They had a good week.
Yeah.
I will give them that credit on that. They swept the Royals, who are not very good this year.
Which, yeah, they had to sweep the Royals.
They had to sweep. I mean, they were on a 4-game winning streak after beating the Yankees last week finally to get the first victory of the year against the Yankees. They lost 5-1 Friday night. They lost game 2 of the first game of the doubleheader yesterday 9-2, but ended up winning 5-1 last night. So we'll see what the 105 game today. Dick Barandino will be in the autograph alley on Jersey Street signing autographs. Apparently, he was a former player. I'm not sure how well Dick Bernardino is. I just looked at quickly promotions of the game today. But, interesting. David Price looked great last night, though, Anthony.
Yeah, it's 2 straight because he was the one that got the win in New York. So that's 2. He's been on a tear recently.
I agree that it's Erod will be pitching tonight. He's obviously got a
today.
Excuse me. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. As you can see, I was reading something from last night.
It's okay.
He'll be facing off against Blake Snell.
Ooh, last year's Cy Young Award.
Exactly. That he's not having as great of a year so far. He's 3-5. He got that money, so he's all good. Life is pleasant for Blake Snell. 3.68 ERA, but he does have 91 Ks so far this year. He's allowed 5 or more runs in 3 of his 12 starts this season. So obviously he's got that money. He's not pitching as well, but
he didn't get quite as big a contract as I would have expected.
It's Tampa. Tampa doesn't have as much money as people expect in some ways.
Not wrong.
Eduardo Rodriguez, he picked up the win in Kansas City on Tuesday after working 5 1/3 innings and allowed 6 hits and 200 runs. He is 6-1 with a 3.86 ERA in his last 10 starts. So that's a good sign right there.
That is a good sign.
I mean, he's starting to feel pretty good. We can only hope that we can get the victory today because that would be quite nice. We're the gap is slowly starting to close a little bit. We're still 6 games back, but at the same time, at this point last week, we were 9.5. So we have closed it down pretty well this week. So
not going to happen overnight.
And if we can get 1 game a week, then I'll be happy with that.
It's a long season. Got plenty of time.
Still over 100 games left.
Yeah, ain't that amazing?
That's so weird to say. All right. All-Star voting will be going on. All-Stars? Interesting. No one's really making me feel.
Bogarts.
I was gonna say Bogarts. I feel like a short would be a good spot for him.
Absolutely.
I do, Anthony. We'll quickly go into this for a moment for you because friggin' Dahlback, Bobby Dahlback of the Red Sox has already hit 13 home runs for AA Portland.
I'm liking the way the farm system is looking this season. I mean, obviously we have Chavis coming up and putting up numbers. Sam Travis, this guy Marco Hernandez who started picking up the bat for us yesterday. I just want to see all these pitchers finally come to form because I don't know if you guys.
I don't know the last time we've had one really.
Well, we had we drafted Jay Groom a while ago, who was supposed to be, he's like supposedly the #1 pitching prospect in our farm system, but I think he got like Tommy John or something like that, so he's been out for a while. We haven't really had like any of those guys come up. That's what I want to see next. I want to see. I mean, obviously Weber's not really a prospect though. He's been in the league for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anybody young. I mean, pitching wise.
Well, Bobby Dahlbach, for those who don't know, he's 13th home run of the season, a 5th inning solo home run yesterday. It's his 5th homer in his last 8 games, and he's now hit safely in 8 of his last 10 contests, a stretch in which he's batting .297 with 9 walks. The 23-year-old third baseman is slashing .251. He's batting. I know everyone's not going to understand all the numbers here. He's got 32 home runs and 109 RBIs in 129 games. So Bobby Dahlbach could be coming up pretty soon if we have room for him, that is. I mean, our infield seems to be pretty good now that Brock Holt's back.
Chavis is killing it at second base.
Chavis is not.
Yeah, I was just looking at the DL for it, actually.
I mean, Devers has been hitting the ball pretty well. He's had a couple good pops over the past 2 weeks, I will say that.
Which is great. I've
He's
been
player
really
of the
rooting
month
for him.
I mean, back in April and early May, he had so many errors that I was like, oh, God, he is such a liability. But now he seems to be getting the
So
bat
young.
back to well. I know, I agree with you. He's so young, so that's why it's like I was not about to give up on him that quickly. But
Yeah.
it was just frustrating to see all these errors because we were playing so poorly. I had to put a factor in some way, but
Well, he's got a lot of support behind him. Everyone I talk to about Devers is always like, oh, I really want to see him do well,
Other big stories, Mitch Moreland's return was short-lived. He's back on the injured list. He came back for 1 game on Saturday. JD Martinez rested again with back spasms the other day, and Nathan Eovaldi to throw a bullpen session. So Mitch Moreland is back on the 10-day injured list with a new ailment, one that sounds more significant than the lower back sprain that kept him out the 10 games before that. So he's
quadricep.
Yeah, so it's not, he has a strained right quad now, is what they're saying.
Wow. Was he the
Yeah,
one who had
Pierce.
his eye scratched too?
That was
Brock
Brock Holt.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
By his adorable young son. Not fun though. You don't want to deal with that. So that made Marco Hernandez come in